Have you ever gone to the grocery store, looked at a product, and thought, I'll just get it next time? Then a few weeks later, you suddenly need it, but the price has gone up. The shelves are empty, or the product is nowhere to be found. That's the frustrating part about waiting. Sometimes, the things we think we can easily buy later become the exact things we wish we'd purchased earlier. And that's especially true when it comes to household essentials. Seasonal products, pantry staples, emergency supplies, and everyday items that can become surprisingly expensive when demand suddenly increases. This month, there are several things you may want to consider buying before you need them. Not because you should panic. Not because you need to empty the shelves. But because having a reasonable supply of products your household already uses can give you more flexibility. The smartest shoppers don't necessarily buy the most. They buy at the right time. They watch prices. They take advantage of sales. And they think ahead. That's what today's list is all about. We're looking at 15 things you may deeply regret not buying this month if you suddenly need them later. Some are groceries. Some are household essentials. And some are items that can become surprisingly valuable during unexpected disruptions. But remember, every household is different. You don't need everything on this list. Focus on the products your family actually uses. Check what you already have before shopping. And always consider your budget and storage space. The goal is preparedness, not panic buying. Before we begin, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, food storage ideas, and preparedness strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Now let's count down 15 things you may deeply regret not buying this month. Starting with number 15. Number 15. Matches and lighters. Starting our list at number 15 is something so simple that most people don't think about it until they suddenly need one. Matches and lighters. You may already have a lighter somewhere in your kitchen. But what happens if it stops working? Or you can't find it? Or you need to light a candle, a gas stove, or another appropriate device during a power outage? That's why having a few reliable fire-starting options available can be useful. A simple pack of matches or a few quality lighters can take up very little space. And compared with many emergency supplies, they're relatively inexpensive. The key is storing them properly. Keep matches and lighters in a dry location away from moisture and heat. Keep them safely away from children and pets. And never use them in an unsafe environment or near flammable materials. It's also smart to have more than one option. A single lighter can fail. Matches can become damp. Having a backup can give you additional flexibility. If your household uses a gas stove or other equipment that requires manual ignition, make sure you understand how to operate it safely. Never attempt to use a flame with equipment that isn't designed for manual ignition. Matches and lighters earn the number 15 spot because they're small, inexpensive, and easy to overlook. But during a power outage or other disruption, having a reliable way to create a flame can be surprisingly useful. And the best part? You don't need to spend much money to prepare. Just check what you already have. Replace anything that's empty or damaged. And keep a small backup supply stored safely. Number 14. Batteries. At number 14 is something most people don't think about until they desperately need it. Batteries. You probably have devices around your home that depend on them. Flashlights, remote controls, clocks, radios, smoke detectors, and countless other everyday items. But when the power goes out or you suddenly need an emergency device, discovering that your batteries are dead can be incredibly frustrating. That's why batteries are one of those small household essentials worth checking before you actually need them. You don't need to buy every size. Start by looking at the devices your household uses most often. AA and AAA batteries are common in many homes, but your needs may be different. Check your emergency supplies. If you have flashlights or radios, make sure you have compatible batteries available. Pay attention to expiration dates and storage recommendations. Batteries generally last longer when stored in a cool, dry location away from extreme temperatures. It's also smart to keep batteries organized. You don't want to discover during an emergency that you have a drawer full of batteries but no idea which ones still work. For households that use rechargeable batteries, make sure your charging equipment is functional and that you have a reliable way to recharge them. Batteries earn the number 14 spot because they're relatively inexpensive, take up little space, and can become extremely important when you need them urgently. And the next item is something that can help you keep your food supply organized and protected. Number 13. Food storage containers. At number 13 is something that many people don't think about until they start building a serious pantry. Food storage containers. Having food at home is one thing. Keeping it protected is another. If you buy dry goods and simply leave open packages sitting around, you may eventually deal with moisture, pantry pests, or stale food. That's why appropriate storage containers can be a worthwhile investment. Airtight containers can help protect certain dry foods from moisture and pests. They can also make your pantry easier to organize. Instead of having half-open bags scattered across shelves, you can keep ingredients clearly labeled and stored in one place. This can also help with food rotation. When you can easily see what you have, you're less likely to accidentally buy something you already own. And you're more likely to use older supplies before opening newer packages. You don't need to buy expensive containers. Simple, food-safe options can work well depending on what you're storing. Choose sizes based on your household's needs. A small container may be ideal for spices. Larger ones may work better for dry staples. Always make sure containers are clean and completely dry before filling them. Moisture trapped inside can damage food. It's also helpful to label containers with the product name and, when appropriate, the date you opened or stored the item. Food storage containers earn the number 13 spot because they can help protect your groceries, reduce waste, and make your pantry much easier to manage. And the next item is something that can become surprisingly difficult to find when people suddenly realize they need it. Number 12. Canned fruit. At number 12 is something many people overlook when building a pantry. Canned fruit. Peaches, pears, pineapple, fruit cocktail, and other varieties can provide a convenient alternative when fresh fruit isn't available. One of the biggest advantages of canned fruit is its shelf stability. Unopened cans can be stored in a pantry for an extended period when kept in appropriate conditions. That means you don't have to worry about consuming everything immediately. Canned fruit can also provide variety. You can eat it as a snack, add it to breakfast, use it in desserts, or incorporate it into certain recipes. During an emergency or a period when grocery shopping becomes difficult, having something sweet and familiar can be surprisingly valuable. It can also make a basic meal feel more enjoyable. Before buying, compare different options. Some canned fruits are packed in heavy syrup, while others are packed in juice or water. Choose based on your household's dietary preferences. And remember to check the cans before use. Avoid containers that are severely swollen, leaking, or badly damaged. It's also smart to rotate your pantry. Use older cans first and replace them when needed. Canned fruit earns the number 12 spot because it can provide variety, convenience, and a longer-lasting alternative to fresh produce. And the next item is something that can help you stay comfortable and prepared when normal household routines are suddenly disrupted. Number 11. Hand soap. At number 11 is something so ordinary that most people don't think about stocking an extra bottle until the last one is almost empty. Hand soap. It's one of those household products you use constantly, every day, multiple times a day. And because you use it so frequently, running out can become surprisingly inconvenient. During normal circumstances, replacing it is easy. You simply add another bottle to your next shopping trip. But if you're dealing with a storm, transportation disruption, illness, or an unexpected period when you can't get to the store, having an extra supply can be useful. Hand soap also plays an important role in basic hygiene. Keeping your hands clean can help reduce the spread of germs and is especially important when you're preparing food or caring for someone who is sick. You don't need to buy dozens of bottles. 1 or 2 backups may be enough for most households. Liquid soap, bar soap, and refill containers can all be options depending on your preferences. Refill packs may sometimes provide better value and reduce packaging waste. Before buying, compare the price per unit rather than looking only at the size of the bottle. A larger container isn't always cheaper. It's also a good idea to store extra soap in a dry location where containers won't leak onto other supplies. Hand soap earns the number 11 spot because it's inexpensive, frequently used, easy to store, and something you definitely don't want to discover you're missing when you need it. And the next item is something that can become extremely valuable when the lights suddenly go out. Number 10. Flashlights. At number 10 is one of the simplest emergency tools you can own. A reliable flashlight. When the power goes out, darkness can turn a normal home into a completely different environment. Finding your way around becomes harder. Stairs become more dangerous. And even simple tasks can suddenly become difficult. That's why having a few dependable flashlights available is a smart idea. Don't rely entirely on your phone. Your phone battery is limited, and you may need it for communication during an emergency. A dedicated flashlight gives you another option. Consider keeping one in an easy-to-reach location. You may also want another in your emergency kit and one in a bedroom or other important area. Before buying new ones, check the flashlights you already own. Do they work? Are the batteries still good? Are the switches functioning properly? There's no point having 5 flashlights if none of them actually turn on. LED flashlights are popular because they're generally efficient and widely available. Some models are rechargeable, while others use replaceable batteries. The best choice depends on your household. If you use rechargeable models, make sure you have a reliable way to recharge them. If you use battery-powered models, keep compatible spare batteries available. It's also worth considering a hands-free option, such as a headlamp. This can be particularly useful when you need both hands for another task. Flashlights earn the number 10 spot because they're relatively inexpensive, take up very little space, and can become essential during a power outage or nighttime emergency. And the next item is something that can help you keep your home running when ordinary household supplies become harder to replace. Number 9. Trash bags. At number 9 is something that most people use every single day but rarely think about stocking ahead. Trash bags. It sounds simple. But imagine running out of them. You can't just put household waste into any container and expect the same convenience. Trash bags are also useful for far more than ordinary garbage. They can help with temporary storage, cleaning, organizing, and managing waste during an emergency. If regular garbage collection is interrupted, having extra bags available can become particularly useful. You may need to keep waste contained for longer than usual. That makes basic sanitation and organization much easier. Trash bags are also relatively inexpensive and take up little space when stored properly. You don't need to buy an enormous supply, but having an extra box or two can prevent an unnecessary emergency shopping trip. When choosing bags, consider the sizes your household actually uses. Kitchen bags, heavy-duty bags, and smaller bags each serve different purposes. If you have pets, you may also need smaller bags for pet waste. The key is to buy the types you already use. You can also compare the cost per bag rather than simply looking at the package price. Sometimes a larger box provides better value. Other times, a sale on a smaller package may be the better deal. Trash bags earn the number 9 spot because they're inexpensive, easy to store, and useful in everyday life as well as during unexpected disruptions. And the next item is something you may not appreciate until you suddenly need to clean or disinfect something quickly. Number 8. Disinfecting wipes. We're now at number 8. And this is something that can become surprisingly valuable when you need to clean surfaces quickly. Disinfecting wipes. They are convenient, easy to use, and require no bucket or additional cleaning equipment. That makes them useful for everyday messes as well as certain emergency situations. You can use them to clean frequently touched surfaces, kitchen areas, bathroom surfaces, or other places where quick cleaning is needed. For households with children or pets, having a package available can be especially convenient. But there's an important distinction. Disinfecting wipes are not the same as ordinary cleaning wipes. If you're specifically trying to disinfect a surface, make sure the product is intended for that purpose and follow the label instructions carefully. The manufacturer's directions matter. Pay attention to the required contact time and any surfaces where the product should not be used. You don't need to stockpile dozens of packages. 1 or 2 backups may be enough for most households. If you use them regularly, keeping an extra package can prevent you from running out unexpectedly. Store them according to the manufacturer's recommendations and make sure the packaging stays sealed properly. Disinfecting wipes earn the number 8 spot because they're compact, convenient, and useful when you need a quick cleaning solution without setting up a full cleaning routine. And the next item is something that can become incredibly important when you need to prepare food but don't have access to your usual kitchen setup. Number 7. Manual can opener. We're now at number 7. And this is one of those items you may completely forget about until you desperately need one. A manual can opener. If you're building a pantry with canned foods, a can opener is not optional. It's essential. Imagine having a shelf full of canned meals, but no way to open them because the electricity is out and your electric opener doesn't work. That's why a simple manual can opener deserves a place in your emergency supplies. They're inexpensive, small, easy to store, and don't require batteries or electricity. You can keep one in your kitchen drawer and another with your emergency supplies. That way, even if you can't access your normal kitchen equipment, you still have a way to open canned foods. Before buying a new one, test the can opener you already own. Does it work smoothly? Is the cutting wheel damaged? Does it struggle with different can sizes? A cheap can opener that breaks when you need it most isn't much of a backup. Look for a sturdy model that feels comfortable and reliable. It's also worth keeping your emergency can opener somewhere you can find it quickly. There's no benefit to owning one if it's buried under dozens of other kitchen tools. A manual can opener earns the number 7 spot because it's inexpensive, takes up almost no space, and can become absolutely essential when you rely on canned food during a power outage or other disruption. And now we're entering the top 6. The next item is something that can help you keep your home clean when you suddenly don't have access to your usual supply of cleaning products. Number 6. Laundry detergent. We're now in the top 6. At number 6 is something that most households use constantly. Laundry detergent. It's easy to underestimate how quickly you go through it. A few loads every week can empty a bottle or container faster than you expect. And unlike some grocery items, there isn't always a convenient substitute sitting in your pantry. That's why keeping a reasonable backup supply can make sense. You don't need to buy a year's worth, but having one extra container can prevent you from making an unnecessary emergency trip when you suddenly run out. Laundry detergent can also become more expensive when you're buying it at the last minute. If you regularly see your preferred brand on sale, you may be able to save money by purchasing a backup before you need it. However, always compare the unit price. A large bottle isn't automatically the best deal. Some products are concentrated, while others require more detergent per load. Look at the number of loads the container is designed to handle. That's often a better way to compare value. You should also store detergent carefully. Keep it in a dry location and away from children and pets. If you use liquid detergent, make sure the container is securely closed to prevent leaks. For households with sensitive skin or specific laundry needs, it's especially important to keep a backup of the product you know works for you. Laundry detergent earns the number 6 spot because it's a frequently used household essential that can be easy to overlook until you're completely out. And now we're entering the top 5. The next item is something that can help you stay prepared when basic household hygiene becomes more important than ever. Number 5. Toilet paper. We're now in the top 5. At number 5 is the item that became famous during previous emergencies for a very simple reason. Toilet paper. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. But it's something almost every household uses regularly. And when people suddenly become concerned about shortages or disruptions, toilet paper is often one of the first products shoppers rush to buy. That's when shelves can empty quickly. The smartest approach is not to panic buy. Instead, keep a reasonable supply based on your household's normal consumption. If your family uses one package every few weeks, you already have a good idea of how much you need. Buying an extra package when it's on sale may make sense. Buying enough to fill an entire room probably doesn't. Storage is another consideration. Toilet paper takes up a surprising amount of space. Keep it somewhere clean and dry where it won't be exposed to moisture. And don't forget to rotate your supply. Use the older packages first and replace them when necessary. You can also compare package sizes carefully. The largest package isn't always the cheapest per roll. Check the unit price and consider the actual sheet count. Sometimes marketing can make a package appear like a better deal than it really is. Toilet paper earns the number 5 spot because it's a basic household necessity, used constantly, and difficult to replace when you suddenly run out. And now we're down to the final 4. The next item is something that can help you stay comfortable and functional when the weather or circumstances suddenly change. Number 4. Personal hygiene products. We're down to the final 4. At number 4 is a category that many people forget when they prepare their pantry. Personal hygiene products. Toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, shampoo, soap, and other everyday essentials can become surprisingly inconvenient to replace when you're unable to make a normal shopping trip. The problem is that these products are easy to overlook. You may remember to stock food, water, and emergency supplies, but forget the items your household uses every single day. That's why it's worth taking a quick inventory before your next shopping trip. Check your bathroom cabinets. Look at what you're almost out of, and replace the products you know your family will need. You don't need to buy everything in bulk. In fact, buying too much can create unnecessary waste, especially with products that have limited shelf lives or change in quality over time. Instead, focus on maintaining a small backup supply. If you have a preferred brand or a product that works best for your household, having an extra one available can save you from a stressful last-minute search. This is especially useful for products that are highly personal or difficult to substitute. Before buying, compare prices. Store brands can sometimes provide excellent value, but for products where quality matters to you, a slightly more expensive option may still be worth it. The key is finding the balance between price and usefulness. Personal hygiene products earn the number 4 spot because they're everyday necessities that are easy to forget until you're suddenly out. And now we're down to the final 3. The next item is something that can help you stay comfortable when temperatures become difficult to manage. Number 3. Batteries for smoke detectors. We're down to the final 3. At number 3 is something that most people completely forget about until they hear that annoying low battery chirp in the middle of the night. Smoke detector batteries. This may not be a grocery item you think about during your regular shopping trip, but it's one of those small household essentials that can become extremely important. Smoke detectors are designed to warn you about a fire as early as possible. If the battery is dead, missing, or unreliable, the detector may not provide the protection you expect. That's why it's worth checking your smoke detectors regularly and following the manufacturer's recommendations for testing and battery replacement. Don't wait until the detector starts chirping. If you have battery-powered smoke detectors, keep the correct replacement batteries available. Some newer detectors use sealed long-life batteries, while others may use replaceable batteries. Check the model installed in your home. You should also consider other devices that may need batteries. Carbon monoxide alarms, emergency radios, flashlights, and other safety equipment may all use different battery types. Keep compatible replacements organized so you can find them quickly. And remember, batteries should be stored according to the manufacturer's instructions, generally in a cool, dry location. Avoid mixing old and new batteries in devices, and never use damaged or leaking batteries. Smoke detector batteries earn the number 3 spot because they're inexpensive compared with the safety they support, easy to overlook, and incredibly important when you need your alarms to function properly. And now we're down to the final 2. The next item is something that can become one of the most valuable things in your home when the normal water supply is suddenly interrupted. Number 2. Water storage containers. We're down to the final 2. At number 2 is something that many people don't think about until there's a problem with their water supply. Water storage containers. Most people assume that water will always be available whenever they turn on the tap. And under normal circumstances, that's usually true. But emergencies can happen. A power outage can affect pumping systems. A storm can damage local infrastructure. A water main can break. Or a temporary disruption can make normal access to safe water more difficult. That's why having appropriate containers for emergency water storage can be extremely useful. The important word here is appropriate. Not every container is suitable for storing drinking water. Use containers specifically designed for food or potable water storage and follow the manufacturer's instructions. Clean and sanitize them properly when required. And store them in a cool location away from direct sunlight and potential contamination. It's also important to think about how much water your household actually needs. Drinking water is the priority, but water may also be needed for cooking and basic hygiene. Your storage plan should reflect your household size, climate, and specific circumstances. You don't need to buy every container at once. You can build your supply gradually. Start with a manageable amount. Then expand your storage as your budget and space allow. It's also important to have a plan for treating additional water if your stored supply runs low. Depending on the source, appropriate filtration, boiling, or other treatment methods may be necessary. Never assume that clear water is automatically safe to drink. Water storage containers earn the number 2 spot because having water is essential. But having a safe way to store it is what allows you to actually maintain an emergency supply. And now we've reached number 1. The item at the top of this list is something that almost every household depends on. But many people don't realize how valuable it is until they're suddenly unable to buy it. Number 1. Prescription and essential medications. We've reached number 1. And this is something you may deeply regret not planning for before you actually need it. Your essential medications. If you or someone in your household regularly depends on prescription medication, running out can create a serious problem. Unlike many grocery items, you can't always assume you'll be able to replace medication immediately. Pharmacies may have limited hours. Transportation could be disrupted. A storm or emergency could make travel difficult. Or a medication may temporarily be unavailable. That's why it's important to plan ahead and talk with your doctor or pharmacist about your specific situation. Ask about refill timing. Understand how much you can safely keep on hand. And follow the instructions provided by your healthcare professional. Never change your dosage or stop taking prescribed medication simply because you're trying to make a supply last longer. For over-the-counter medicines your household regularly uses, such as basic pain relievers or fever reducers, it's also worth checking your medicine cabinet before you run out. Look at expiration dates. Replace products that are expired or damaged. And store medications according to the label instructions. Keep them away from children and anyone who shouldn't have access to them. You may also want to keep a written list of essential medications and relevant medical information in a secure place in case you need to communicate with healthcare providers during an emergency. The goal isn't to stockpile unnecessarily. It's to avoid being caught completely unprepared. Essential medications earn the number 1 spot because, unlike many other products on this list, they can be difficult or impossible to replace quickly when you need them most. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Prepper Pulse and turn on notifications. We upload new videos daily with practical grocery tips, food storage ideas, and preparedness strategies to help you stay informed and ready. Stay prepared, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next video.